or 4 vertebrae involved with the abnormal shaped vertebra, then it is called as spine defect. That is also a presentation of TB in children. So, excluding this, like any child presenting with a fever, infection, any non-specific symptoms, when they have a family history of contact with the TB, we have to investigate the child. So, these are all the presenting complaints. Usually, the child comes to us, then we have to investigate it. So, this is the most important criteria when to investigate a child with TB. So whenever a child get exposed to contacts, so source of the case, whenever the child get exposed to source case, then after exposing to the contacts, only 30% may get the infection, and the 70% of children may not get the infection, and they will not manifest as a disease. 30% of infection, usually there is a risk of developing in 5 to 10% lifetime. There is a risk, and more than 50% in infancy to progress to primary disease, and 25% in 1 to 5 year children. So overall, like primary disease is like after exposing to contacts, 30% of the children may have primary disease, 30%, and in the 30%, 90 to 95% that will progress to persistent latent infection. So primary infection usually comes through like aerosol spread, droplet spread. When the child comes in contact with a TB person, through droplets, the bacilli will enter through nose, and through nose it will go. Through nose it goes to the lungs. So through that process, when the primary infection goes to the regional lymph nodes, there will be airway involvement, which results to intrabronchial spread. Then bronchopneumonic consolidation occurs. And when it goes to lung cavity directly, there will be involvement of the parenchyma, lung through intrabronchial spread. This is intrabronchial spread, airway involvement through bronchopneumonic consolidation. That is parenchymal cavitation that occurs through intrabronchial spread. So leading to the pleural effusion, pericardial effusion, and biliary TB. So when there is Gons complex is nothing but this parenchymal cavitation along with the hilar lymph nodes. This is the Gons complex. This is when treated, there will be like complete cure. When we are treating, when the child is having this primary infection, when treated, there will be treatment. After treatment, there will be complete resolution. Or if we are not treating, it will naturally heal, and there will be much risk of getting the latent infection later. It will heal on its own, but there will be risk of getting latent infection. So reactivation or post-primary tuberculosis. So there is 50 to 90% of cases after resolving from the primary infection, they have a risk of developing post-primary tuberculosis. In this, like there is more predilection to apical or posterior segment of upper lobes or a superior segment of lower lobes. Focal or patchy heterogeneous consolidation or fibrocavities and pleural effusion and tuberculomas are also seen. So we have deal with what is the clinical features, how the child will present, and how the route of spread and how it is spreading. Now we will go to the management part under NTEP guidelines. So as the TB is a global burden, like Government of India provided facilities for the patients for the diagnosis and treatment part. So whenever in public health sector, in government they will be providing all these investigations for free of cost. But when the patient comes to a private hospital, then they will also be enrolled in the private hospital to get the free services from the government. So these are like microscopy, nucleic acid amplification test, line probe assay, direct sputum test, and all these investigations. When they get enrolled in the private sector under government, all these investigations will be done, and the samples will be transported to the government TB offices. So, and in each private sector, there will be laboratories, chemists, and counseling centers, screening centers. All those will be there for counseling the patients. And under this program, TB, there will be most burden of malnutrition is more. So we have to provide food, and mostly on the nutrition. We have to concentrate on the nutrition part of the child. So there will be government will be giving incentives to them to take good nutrition, 500 rupees per month, to provide good nutrition to the patients. So through government linkage, the system will be running. They have to enroll with their phone number in the Nikshay app. Through that app, they will be getting all this, whatever the government is providing them, the money incentives, the drug incentives, or whatever the test, cost of test, everything they will be dealing in the app itself. The government authority person will come to their home and take the samples, and they will further investigate regarding drugs and all. This is integrated ICT system for TB management and care in India. Real-time case-based and web-based surveillance tool. As I said to you, in the phone there will be app. They will be registering through this web page nikshay.in, which is an Android app, so that these healthcare providers will have an access to the patient directly. They will see how many number of patients are there, in which area TB is more, wherever they are, population screening will be there, for drug distribution, everything will be in the app when the patient is enrolled in this Nikshay app. So incentive to patients for social protection. Nikshay portion Poshan Yojana, which was launched in 1st April 2018, which provides nutritional support through direct benefit transfer of 500 INR per month for all patients. And for all patients on TB treatment throughout the duration of treatment. And patient needs to be registered in the Nikshay portal. And if the patient is living in a tribal area, then incentive will be given around 700 rupees per month. So in urban area, how much they are giving incentive per month? And in the rural area, it is 750 because they will be living in the tribal places. So transportation will be the main problem for them. So in tribal places, they will be giving 750 per month to the patients. And whenever in private health sector, whenever they notify a patient to the government, then the person who is notifying the disease also will get amount of 500 rupees at the time of notification, notifying the disease, and 500 rupees after treatment completion of the patient. And other health programs which are incorporated with this NTEPs, Rashtriya Bal Suraksha Karyakramam and Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakramam. All is deals with the children and adolescent health services. So they are also incorporated in this NTEP guidelines. So coming to the diagnosis, so usually we do microbiological confirmation with sputum test. As the child will have continuous cough, we have to do sputum test and tuberculosis skin test or other symptomatic tests based on radiology also. In radiological manifestations of TB, usually highly suggestive imaging findings are like in TB they will having hilar or mediastinal lymphadenopathy or a chronic fibrocavity lesion or a miliary pattern in the lung. And non-specific findings usually like consolidation, non-homogeneous opacity, ground glass opacity or thin-walled cavities. So this first slide is like right-sided paratracheal and hilar lymph node enlargement was there. That is the classical sign of pulmonary TB. And there is like parenchymal lesion is seen on the right lower zone with associated right paratracheal lymph node enlargement. And down in there is some consolidation in the right lower lobe here in this third image. And there is in fourth image there is like lymph node mass where the red point is the lymph node mass with airway compression which is showing and the right sided hyperinflation.